Elon Musk, now one of Trump's most trusted insiders, just weighed in on Usha Vance, and people are stunned. As the wife of VP J.D. Vance and mother of their 3 children, she's earned respect in high places but remains a target of media scrutiny. Why? Her heritage. While critics try to erase her story, Musk is setting the record straight. What he reveals will shock you. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. The untold power of Usha Vance. Usha Vance, the Second Lady of the United States, isn't your typical political spouse. She's not one for grand speeches or public spotlights, but don't be fooled. She's far from just a supporting character in J.D. Vance's political rise. Insiders say that behind closed doors, she's a quiet force, a strategist who has played a key role in shaping her husband's ascent to the vice presidency. Born to immigrant parents, a molecular biologist mother and a mechanical engineer father, Usha's story isn't just about privilege, it's about relentless ambition and intellectual dominance. From the working-class suburbs of San Diego to the hallowed halls of Cambridge, Yale, and the Supreme Court, she has navigated elite institutions with precision. Even J.D. Vance himself, a former U.S. Senator, has admitted to being humbled by her achievements. But here's what they don't tell you. Usha Vance is more than just a brilliant legal mind. She's a power player in Washington's most elite circles, a woman whose influence stretches far beyond her title. While the media tries to fit her into a quiet, traditional mold, those who truly know her recognize the truth. Usha Vance is rewriting the rules of political power. Stay tuned, because this story is just beginning. The power behind J.D. Vance. When Usha Vance joined a Yale Law School discussion on social decline in white America in 2010, she had no idea it would change her life forever. That moment became a key chapter in J.D. Vance's best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, where he described how deeply the event shaped his views. The book, later turned into a 2020 film by Ron Howard, focused on Vance's rise from a troubled upbringing in the Rust Belt. But what it didn't fully capture was the extraordinary woman beside him. To Vance, Usha wasn't just another brilliant classmate. She was a genetic anomaly, someone who seemed to possess every perfect trait imaginable. He admitted in his book that he fell hard for her at Yale, breaking every modern dating rule by declaring his love after just one date. But beyond the romance, Usha was a standout in a far more profound way. While Yale law was filled with cutthroat ambition, she refused to see success as a zero-sum game. Instead of competing against her peers, she lifted them up. She spent time mentoring fellow students, offering advice on the coveted judicial clerkships she herself was vying for. Her generosity didn't go unnoticed. One anonymous classmate recalled how, despite being at the top of their class, Usha never kept an edge over others. She shared everything, down to her perfectly color-coded, meticulously organized notes. Even Charles Tyler, now a law professor, noted that Usha wasn't just brilliant, she had an undeniable influence over J.D. Vance. Despite their seemingly equal partnership, it's Usha who often has the final say. Another former classmate described her as Vance's spirit guide, the person he turns to for every major decision. Usha Vance, a political enigma. Few figures in Washington are as politically elusive as Usha Vance. While her husband, Vice President J.D. Vance, has built his brand railing against so-called woke ideology, Usha's personal political beliefs remain far more complex and at times contradictory. Just a decade ago, she was a registered Democrat. Even more eyebrow-raising? Until last summer, she worked as a trial attorney at Munger, Toles & Olson, a San Francisco law firm often labeled as radically progressive. Given J.D. Vance's frequent attacks on Democratic policies, this detail has fueled intense speculation about where Usha truly stands. But then, there's another side to the story, one that makes her even harder to pin down. Before her time at Munger, Usha clerked for Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh, two stalwarts of the conservative legal movement. These aren't just any judges, they're central figures in the Supreme Court's conservative majority, shaping the future of American law for generations. So, is she a liberal who once thrived in progressive legal circles? Or a quiet conservative with deep ties to the right? One thing is certain, she and J.D. Vance both agree on the value of family. In a political landscape where personal beliefs are often blurred by alliances, Usha remains a mystery, one that Washington is eager to solve. Usha Vance, the woman who steadies the storm. In 2014, Usha and J.D. Vance tied the knot in Kentucky, beginning a journey that would eventually take them to the highest levels of American politics. Now parents to 3 children, daughter Mirabelle and sons Vivek and Ewan, they've built a life that, at least on the surface, looks like a classic American success story. But behind the scenes, Usha is the quiet force that holds everything together. In a rare interview with Fox News, Usha reflected on her husband's deep belief in the power of family, explaining that his emphasis on stability comes from both his tumultuous upbringing and his recognition of her unwavering support. "The stability and calm I provide in our family life," she said, "comes from all the support I had, the faith that things would be okay, because I had people behind me." While J.D. Vance's political persona is often fueled by conflict, Usha has remained his steady, unwavering center, a role that hasn't gone unnoticed. Back in India, her story is a source of national pride. Coming from a long line of Hindu scholars, her family sees her success as destiny. Her great-grand-aunt in Andhra Pradesh told BBC that Usha's achievements didn't surprise her, emphasizing that only 1 in a million can rise to such heights in a foreign land. But admiration for Usha's quiet strength extends far beyond her family. If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments, and if not, let me know with a 0. I appreciate your feedback. The woman behind J.D. Vance's rise. J.D. Vance wasn't exactly a Yale Law School archetype, a combat veteran with a tough working-class past and a lingering sense of imposter syndrome. He never imagined he'd one day hold one of the most powerful positions in the country. And yet, at just 40 years old, he's now the 3rd youngest vice president in American history. But those who know him best say his rapid rise wasn't just about his own drive. It was about Usha Vance, the woman he met in the hallowed halls of Yale. The two started as friends, part of the same reading group and social circles, but their backgrounds couldn't have been more different. Usha, the daughter of Indian immigrants, grew up in the comfortable suburbs of San Diego, excelling at Yale as both an undergraduate and graduate student. J.D., on the other hand, was raised in Middleton, Ohio, his family tracing its roots back to the struggling coal towns of Appalachian Kentucky. Their differences were striking, but as Yale classmate Charles Tyler put it, that contrast is what brought them together. In his memoir, J.D. admitted he often felt out of place at Yale, an elite world with its own unspoken rules. One moment that stood out, Usha quietly teaching him how to navigate a formal dinner, starting with the correct cutlery. It was a small but revealing glimpse into their dynamic. As Tyler put it, Usha was his guide through the entire process. And that influence didn't stop when they left campus. Today, her voice is one of the few he trusts completely. Political consultant Jai Chabria noted that when J.D. delivers a powerful speech, it's Usha who helps shape his message, critiques his words, and ensures he stays on course. J.D. Vance himself put it best. "It's not just that I've learned to control myself, it's that Usha has learned how to manage me." In a political landscape dominated by power players, Usha Vance may be one of the most quietly influential figures in Washington. Now you might be asking yourself, what does Elon Musk have to do with this? The answer? Everything. Elon Musk's power move. While President-elect Donald Trump is busy reveling in his second campaign victory, J.D. Vance isn't quite in the spotlight. Trump is preoccupied with cabinet appointments, post-election celebrations, and, most notably, his first buddy, Elon Musk. Yes, the same billionaire who once vowed to stay out of politics is now firmly entrenched in Trump's orbit. After campaigning for him in Pennsylvania, Musk has made Mar-a-Lago his unofficial headquarters, embracing his new role as Trump's most trusted advisor. He's not just playing politics, he's shaping the administration. Whether it's sitting in on high-stakes calls with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky or being handpicked to lead a mysterious initiative to slash government spending, Musk is no longer just an observer. And that's where things get interesting. While J.D. Vance stands on the sidelines, Musk is firmly in the driver's seat. So, what exactly is Musk's endgame in this new Trump era? Buckle up, because this is just the beginning. Elon Musk's real role in Trump's inner circle. Elon Musk isn't just Trump's favorite billionaire, he's now officially embedded in the new administration. Alongside Vivek Ramaswamy, Musk has been tapped to lead a brand new, entirely fictitious agency, the Department of Government Efficiency. The mission? Eliminate government waste by creating a whole new government office. If that already sounds ironic, it gets even better. Trump has put two people with opposing objectives in charge of the same goal. But let's be clear, this isn't about cutting bureaucracy. It's about power, influence, and payback. Trump has always operated on a quid pro quo system, and this is no exception. Musk, the world's richest man, leveraged his massive social media platform and financial resources to push Trump's campaign. Now, he's reaping the rewards. And what's the biggest prize of all? Regulatory control. If Musk has the power to shrink government, what's stopping him from dismantling the very agencies that oversee Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and his countless investments? The government watchdogs that once monitored Musk's empire may soon be gone, and he'll be the one holding the scissors. Meanwhile, the actual vice president, J.D. Vance, is notably absent from Trump's power circles. Over the weekend, Trump posted a photo of his inner circle enjoying McDonald's aboard his private jet. Seated around him, Musk, RFK Jr., House Speaker Mike Johnson, and Don Jr., missing from the picture, J.D. Vance. Instead of being part of Trump's elite advisory team, Vance has been handed the far less glamorous task of wrangling Senate Republicans to confirm Trump's misfit MAGA cabinet. So while Vance holds the title of vice president, Musk appears to hold the real influence. Over the next 4 years, Americans should watch closely, because this is what happens when a private billionaire gains unchecked political power. J.D. Vance, the vice president left behind. While Elon Musk listens in on Trump's phone calls, J.D. Vance is out here wasting time trying to push an impossible nomination. Just a day before Matt Gaetz withdrew his bid for Attorney General, Vance was scrambling to convince Republican senators to back him, only to watch it all fall apart. Meanwhile, Musk, Trump's real right-hand man, remains comfortably positioned inside the president's inner circle. If Kamala Harris once held the most thankless VP assignment, being tasked with solving global migration, Vance might be giving her a run for her money. He left his day job as a senator to help Trump fill an already filled position. In a now-deleted social media post, he justified skipping Senate votes by claiming he was too busy vetting candidates for FBI leadership. One problem? Current FBI Director Christopher Wray's term doesn't end until 2027. Trump personally appointed Wray after firing James Comey in 2017, but now it seems he's ready to rewrite the rules once again, and Vance is playing along whether he realizes it or not. Senate Republicans are now facing a choice: push back against Trump's increasing grip on power, or let him reshape the government at will. Trump has already signaled he's willing to use recess appointments to bypass confirmations entirely. stacking his administration with loyalists who wouldn't survive a real Senate vote. Incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune must now decide, does he stand up to Trump or does he fall in line? And where does Vance fit into all of this? Right now, he's not even in the driver's seat. He's just a passenger. The real power brokers, Trump, Musk, and their carefully chosen circle, are steering the course of this administration. If Vance doesn't find his place soon, he risks becoming the most sidelined vice president in modern history. May Musk defends Usha Vance amid far-right attacks. While Elon Musk has become a central figure in Trump's administration, his family hasn't stayed silent when it comes to supporting the second couple, especially May Musk. The billionaire's mother has publicly come to Usha Vance's defense, calling her lovely, smart, and charming in response to online discussions about why Usha's historic role as the first Indian American and Hindu second lady hasn't received more recognition. Usha's influence on J.D. Vance's political rise is undeniable. As the mother of his 3 children, she has been a steadfast supporter of his pro-family policies and has stood by him even when his remarks stirred controversy, like when he infamously criticized childless women as cat ladies. But with her growing visibility has come a wave of racist attacks from far-right extremists, targeting not just her heritage, but her very place in Vance's life. After Vance was announced as Trump's running mate, far-right activist Jaden McNeil took to social media, posting a family photo of the Vances with the sarcastic caption, "I'm sure this guy's going to be great on immigration." It wasn't just an isolated dig. White nationalist Nick Fuentes openly questioned how Vance could support white identity while having an Indian wife. In a disturbing and unapologetic rant, Fuentes framed immigration and interracial marriage as existential threats to white people, directly attacking Usha's presence in Vance's life as a betrayal of far-right ideals. But J.D. Vance didn't hold back. A month after joining Trump's ticket, he made it clear that attacks on Usha were off-limits. In an interview with ABC News, he hit back with an unfiltered response, "Look, if these guys want to go after me, my policies, my personality, my opinions, go for it. But don't attack my wife. You can't compete with her." Then, in a pointed clapback at his critics, he doubled down, "What kind of man marries Usha? A very smart and very lucky one." Despite the relentless noise, Usha has remained composed, avoiding direct engagement with the backlash, but the message from her husband and allies like May Musk is clear: she belongs exactly where she is, and no amount of hate will change that. Trump and Musk weigh in on Usha Vance. A week after Donald Trump publicly gushed over Usha Vance, May Musk followed suit, adding her own praise for the second lady. But it wasn't just an offhand compliment. Trump actually paused his inauguration speech to call attention to his admiration for J.D. Vance's wife. "His wife is the only person smarter than him," Trump joked, adding, "I would have chosen her. But somehow the line of succession didn't work that way." At 39, Usha Vance's credentials are nothing short of elite. A Gates Scholar at Cambridge University, she earned her BA in history from Yale, where she first met J.D. Vance. Her legal career has been just as impressive, having clerked for Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, a position reserved for only the brightest legal minds. And it's not just Trump and his inner circle taking notice. Elon Musk has also signaled his support for Usha. The billionaire entrepreneur, known for his unpredictable online presence, has actively engaged with social media posts about J.D. and Usha Vance, particularly those highlighting her Indian heritage. As social media flooded with discussions about the Vances, many focusing on J.D.'s so-called Indian connection, Musk took a moment to react to one post from an Indian user with a single cryptic emoji. While Musk's engagement may seem minor, it reinforces a growing narrative. Usha Vance isn't just the wife of the vice president. She's an emerging figure in her own right, drawing the attention of some of the most powerful figures in the world. Usha Vance, admired, attacked, and unapologetic. At Vice President J.D. Vance's inauguration on January 20th, all eyes weren't just on him. Usha Vance, the first Indian-American Second Lady of the United States, became a major focal point. Her grace, intelligence, and cultural authenticity were widely praised. But with that spotlight came something darker, a surge of racist and xenophobic attacks targeting her Hindu faith and Indian heritage. The hostility wasn't just anecdotal, it was measurable. Google searches for terms like Usha Vance religion and Usha Vance citizenship skyrocketed, reflecting a growing public curiosity about her background. While some saw her as a symbol of America's evolving political landscape, others fixated on her ethnicity and faith, using it as ammunition for divisive rhetoric. MAGA-aligned social media platforms have become a breeding ground for hateful remarks about Usha's Hindu beliefs, often disguised as concerns about her identity. Her religion has been mocked, her background questioned, and offensive imagery circulated, all tactics used to cast doubt on her place in the White House. One particularly notable post came from ex-user Dr. Parak Patel, who shared a photo of JD and Usha with their child, writing, "You either hire an Indian CEO or live long enough to see yourself become Indian." The comment, meant as a jab at J.D. Vance's personal life, was met with a laughing emoji response from Elon Musk. But Usha Vance is far more than the controversy surrounding her name. A brilliant legal mind, she earned her BA in history from Yale University, later obtaining an MPhil in early modern history from Cambridge and a law degree from Yale Law School. Her career as a high-profile attorney was already impressive before she ever stepped into the political spotlight. For J.D. Vance, his wife has been his guiding force from the very beginning. In a 2022 interview, he reflected on their time at Yale, sharing, "She instinctively understood the questions I didn't even know to ask, and always encouraged me to seek opportunities I didn't know existed." That quiet but unwavering support has remained a defining feature of their relationship. And in a political climate filled with noise, Usha Vance continues to stand firm, unapologetically herself. Trump appoints Usha Vance to lead anti-woke Kennedy Center shift. Donald Trump has officially tapped Usha Vance to help reshape the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, marking yet another effort by the former president to remake American cultural institutions in his own image. In a bold move, Trump recently fired multiple Kennedy Center board members, declaring that they do not share our vision for a golden age in arts and culture. Among his biggest grievances, drag performances, which he vowed would end under his leadership. The decision is part of his larger campaign to push back against so-called woke culture in American entertainment and the arts. Usha Vance joins the cultural overhaul. One of Trump's new appointees to the Kennedy Center board is none other than Usha Vance, wife of Vice President J.D. Vance. A highly accomplished legal mind, Usha studied at the University of Cambridge on a prestigious Gates Scholarship, an achievement her husband often highlights. J.D. Vance has previously stated that his wife is brilliant and more accomplished than he is. Trump, never one to miss a punchline, once joked, "The only one smarter than Vance is his wife. I would have chosen her." But somehow the line of succession didn't work that way. Trump takes control of the Kennedy Center. The shakeup at the Kennedy Center didn't stop with new appointments. On Wednesday, the Board of Trustees removed billionaire David Rubenstein as chairman and installed Trump in his place. This dramatic shift led to the immediate resignation of Deborah F. Rutter, who had served as the center's president for over a decade. According to a source close to the administration, Trump envisions a Kennedy Center that offers performances appealing to a broader, more inclusive, and more balanced audience, instead of those that only appeal to half the country. The goal, they say, is to ensure that future productions don't lean into woke culture, a direction Trump believes the center has taken in the past. With Usha Vance now at the heart of this cultural shakeup, all eyes will be on how she helps reshape one of America's most prestigious arts institutions under Trump's leadership. We truly appreciate you for sticking around and watching our video. Leave a 2 in the comments to let me know you are still here with us. Usha's silent grip. While Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center has been loud and unapologetic, Usha Vance's role has been far more subtle, but just as significant. Unlike the political firebrands that dominate the Trump orbit, Usha operates with quiet precision, making her an invaluable player in reshaping the cultural narrative. Insiders suggest that her presence at the Kennedy Center is no accident. As a Yale and Cambridge scholar, former Supreme Court clerk, and highly accomplished attorney, she brings a deep understanding of both conservative legal strategy and elite liberal institutions, a combination Trump's administration sees as a strategic asset. While Trump loudly promises to clean house at the Kennedy Center, Usha is already influencing decisions from behind closed doors. Sources say she has begun weighing in on which programs should receive funding and which performances should be reconsidered, aligning the center's artistic direction with a broader, more politically neutral vision. Or at least, that's how Trump's camp frames it. But Usha's influence isn't just about the Kennedy Center. It's about how Trump reshapes American culture itself. In a world where political leaders use art, entertainment, and media to control narratives, Usha may be the key to making Trump's cultural ambitions more palatable to the mainstream. The question remains, is she simply fulfilling her role as a trusted advisor, or is she orchestrating something bigger? The coming culture war. The battle for the soul of American arts and culture has begun, and Usha Vance is at the center of the storm. While Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center may seem like another routine power grab, this one carries deeper implications, ones that will define the future of America's artistic and intellectual institutions. Within days of Trump removing billionaire David Rubenstein and appointing himself chairman, elite donor circles and cultural power players began pushing back. Critics argue that Trump's real goal isn't to broaden artistic programming, but to impose an ideological filter on the arts, ensuring that performances align with his political base. And yet, Usha's appointment complicates the narrative. As a woman of Indian descent with deep academic credentials, she doesn't fit the mold of Trump's usual appointees. This has led to speculation that her role at the Kennedy Center is more than just symbolic, that she's there to provide a sophisticated strategic layer to Trump's cultural agenda. Her legal expertise and deep institutional knowledge could allow her to legitimize sweeping changes to the Kennedy Center's programming in ways that appear neutral but ultimately reshape the arts in America. If Trump's presidency is a war on woke culture, then Usha may be crafting the blueprint for how that battle unfolds in elite spaces. With the entire artistic community watching, Usha Vance now faces a defining moment. Will she moderate Trump's cultural war, or will she become one of its most powerful architects? The answer could change the course of American arts, entertainment, and intellectual life for years to come. Usha's signature style. In a political world where fashion often speaks louder than words, Usha Vance's style is a quiet rebellion against the spectacle of Washington. She doesn't chase trends, nor does she conform to the stiff, buttoned-up uniform of traditional political spouses. Instead, her wardrobe reflects the same qualities that define her personality: elegance, intellect, and quiet confidence. Usha gravitates toward classic, understated silhouettes, often favoring tailored blazers, structured dresses, and refined neutrals. Unlike the bold, flashy ensembles favored by some of her contemporaries, she leans into sophistication rather than spectacle, making her presence felt without demanding attention. Whether it's a sleek sheath dress at a political gala or a perfectly draped sari during a cultural event, Her choices exude effortless authority. Her preference for minimalist jewelry, muted tones, and impeccably fitted pieces speaks to her Cambridge-Yale sensibility, a mix of academic sharpness and quiet luxury. Yet, there's a depth to her wardrobe that mirrors her background. She seamlessly blends Western tailoring with subtle nods to her Indian heritage, whether through delicate embroidery or the choice of a bold jewel tone in an otherwise neutral palette. In an era where political fashion often leans toward performance, Usha Vance's style is refreshingly restrained, a reflection of a woman who knows true power doesn't need to announce itself. What are your thoughts on the new Second Lady of the United States? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.